This is apparently this is like famous.
Broadway Melody is supposed to be better than this. Broadway Melody, shit.
Hello and welcome to ABC's Films. I'm Alex, this is Barry. We're going to be watching Greatest Show on Earth. I'm not looking forward to it. Barry's not looking forward to it. It's 2.5 hours long. Best Picture winner in 1952. Directed by Cecil B. DeMille. Half the jump.
I think we got it!
Let's talk about the story in general. So what happens in this film, Barry? Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston owns a circus.
Yep. Well, he doesn't own it, but he runs the circus.
He runs the circus, and this new guy comes over.
Called Sebastian Shaw.
Called Sebastian, and he's
who is not the villain in X-Men First Class, by the way. He's a completely different character. He's Sebastian, who is also French. And he is like the star trapeze artist.
Yeah, and he takes center ring from Holly. He takes Holly's center ring, and she says she never gives up her center ring for anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But she does for Sebastian.
Sebastian è veramente un amore. Sebastian, was ein Mann. Oh, baby!
But then they share center ring?
No, he has center ring, and then she's on ring 1. But she's like, oh, they're paying more attention to ring 1.
Oh,
so
right.
It's like they are on separate rings, but, you know, throughout like the first half of the ring is like, they're competing, doing like trapeze tricks. Yeah. And then they do some more trapeze tricks and they compete more.
It goes on for like 20 minutes.
How long do you think this can go on before something happens?
Then Sebastian hurts himself because he's trying to do a triple jump through a ring without a net for some reason, because that's a good idea. Then he becomes Mr. Clawarm.
You don't plan to work for Columbia, do you?
Let him go, Brad. He's found some more stardust.
No, he hasn't.
Cherie, I return you to sawdust. Sawdust to sawdust.
You wouldn't work for Columbia. You're the great Sebastian. You wouldn't give up the center ring for anything or anybody, unless you couldn't hold it. You've been lying ever since you came in here. Now let's see the truth.
Keep your hands up.
You should not have done that. That's why you wouldn't shake hands.
Yeah.
There's no stakes in this film, the more I think about it. Because they have the scene at the start where Brad's talking to all these circus bosses, I assume, and it's like, we can only have 10 shows because we're not losing money.
Yeah, that
and then that goes away completely through the entire
Well, no,
film.
I mean, all the way through the film, they are talking about that there's another circus, the Columbia.
No, they talk about that once.
Alright, well, they mentioned the Columbia and how, like, that's...
They're competing.
Yeah, they're competing and it's very close call. And, so then at the end, there's this train crash. And they're like, oh my god, what are we going to do? How can we now have a circus? And Holly says, don't worry about it, we'll just have a circus. And they're like, alright, yeah, cool, that's a good idea. So they go into the town and tell everybody that there's going to be a circus on, and then, like, people come and see the circus. So presumably, they're just at exactly the same spot that they were at. But like financially.
Like I said to you, I'm watching it, that train crash would probably, because of the negligence involved and the damage to the public property and everything, that's going to cost them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not going to be able to make up that hit.
Get in there. Someplace like home, Nero.
There's another corpse.
Put a blanket over the glass.
Yeah, like 10 minutes after. You think about 10 minutes after the credits roll in a film, you know, all the police turn up.
It's like, he just left that train there on the track.
Right, there's all these fucking lions loose and everything, all the gibbons are flying around.
But obviously there's not a great deal of thought that's gone into this film at all.
No.
You did this for me.
For you, I wouldn't give you storage space, but you're a good flyer. The show needs you. And keep working on it.
I think this was made as a showcase for the circus.
You reckon?
And yeah.
Tell me your theory.
I picked that up. I was watching it, and they had to throw in a storyline to put all of the pieces together.
It doesn't hold it together. It's mostly there for the spectacle.
Yeah, because it's just scene after scene after scene after scene of circus acts, and then every now and again there'll be like, you know, James Stewart plays a clown. And about an hour and 15 minutes into it, there's a woman in the crowd that he runs over to, and she's like, they're still looking for you, really shady.
They've been around again, asking questions. I'm so worried for you.
Oh, now don't worry. They'll never find me behind this nose.
Be very careful, dear.
Now, how about a nice smile that I can remember until next year?
God be with you, my boy.
It's all right, Mother.
Because he's hiding in the circus, but then it's just like circus act, circus act, circus act, circus act for another hour, and then you find something else out about that. It's not very good. It's like a promotional video that goes on. It's 2.5 hours long, and it's just that stuff. It's just circus acts, and some of it was kind of entertaining. There was a bit with a little boy flinging around everywhere.
Pretty sure that was a girl.
That was a little boy.
I'm pretty sure that was a girl.
It had a wig on, but he took it off.
Yeah, but I think the girl had her hair shaved, so you could, I don't know, I don't really care either way.
But anyway, right, with a child being flung around everywhere, that was quite entertaining. This is another one of those films where when Alex points out the sexism in it, he is absolutely spot on.
You scoffed first.
I did at the beginning when Alex was sort of like, oh, all of these like women are stereotypes or something. I was, you know, ugh. But there was one scene.
Set the scene, Barry. Set the scene, right?
Okay, so this woman, Holly, is a trapeze artist, or a flyer, as they call them in the film. And
as they call him in the industry.
And Sebastian's got a little bit of a crush on her, but she's not interested. But then some scenes she is interested, and other scenes she's not interested. But it's not like she's conflicted, it's just sometimes she is, sometimes she isn't.
Women, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Sebastian decides to be, unbeknownst to her, decides to be her holder, which is the person who, when they fly through the air, that they grab onto.
Hello.
You crazy devil, how did you get up here?
I bribed your catcher.
He says, no, she's like, now, show must go on, Sebastian, so you've got to fling me up over that way. And he says,
let me go.
Kiss me.
Look, you're holding up the act.
And she's like dangling like 30 feet in the air.
So he could like kill her, essentially, if he wanted to.
And then she says, I don't want to kiss you, but then he pulls her up anyway and kisses her.
And then
drops her.
Goodbye.
And then she is absolutely fucking fine with it.
Yeah, and then she rolls over on the net and she says,
Sebastian won't give up, Brad. You better marry me quicker, I'm a gone pigeon.
You get back up there and finish the act, or you'll be a dead pigeon.
Yes, sir.
In general, I have an issue with how the women are characterized in this film because, like, all the, you know, she's a very skilled circus artist and everything. She's doing all these wonderful trapeze tricks. When she gets off, all she cares about who she's going to marry.
Yeah.
And that's all the other girls care about as well. Like, oh, Brad really likes you, but Sebastian really likes you too. That Sebastian's wonderful.
That fucking, I don't know her name,
It's just
but
a love triangle.
there's a woman who looks like Jenny Agutter, and all the way through it, she hates Sebastian.
Yeah.
She doesn't really like him at all. She's going out with Klaus.
She knows Sebastian from beforehand in Paris.
Oh yeah, they had like a one-night stand in Paris or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
she's
but-
like, forget it, basta. And then halfway through, she decides that she wants to marry Brad. So she just goes into it. She just starts cleaning for him.
Johnny.
The full season. That's great.
Yeah. Aren't you in the wrong wagon?
Not the way this one looks.
Don't touch that.
Oh, a brass hat.
What's all this housekeeping?
Just housekeeping.
Well, go do it someplace else. The boys take care of all this.
But then at the
Cleaning
end,
for
she
him.
does. She just walks into his trailer and just starts
She
cleaning.
fills his pipe, Barry.
Yeah, and then he's like, "What's with all the housework?" And she's like, "It could do with a bit of a clean."
And then he's like, I didn't know a woman could fill my pipe.
Yeah.
We're talking about the pipe, not his dick.
But then, at the end, Sebastian just walks up to her, and she says, like, you know, the only thing, it's pretty cold, isn't it? And she says the only thing that can warm me up is a marriage. And he's like, well, maybe we should get married. And she just turns and goes,
Yeah.
and then they're together.
You know, Michael Fallon got fired for that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Topical, mate.
Topical, yeah, I like it.
But I realised that in the past, I may have fallen below the high standards that we require of the armed forces that I have the honour to represent.
But in general, all the characters are characterized quite poorly in this. I mean, they're very broad stereotypes of like national identity. So
I don't think they
Heston
ever
is-
sort of solidify, with the exception of Jimmy Stewart and Charlton Heston. none of them were like solid characters throughout the film. They kept sort of changing their minds about everything, and they weren't changing their minds as in people with depth. They were just changing their minds because the script needed that.
But I mean, in general, like about national stereotypes involved. Sebastian is like the French guy who's like womanizing everyone because he's a French guy.
Yeah.
Is it Klaus? Is he called Klaus?
Klaus, yeah, he's a headstrong German.
The narcissistic German who's in love with someone, and when he gets done, he goes mental.
Oh
and
yeah,
tries to murder her with a elephant's foot.
Angel likes that guy. Why? Because he can give her presents. He's got the dough, so he gets the girl.
Yeah. What is mine, I keep.
Not without dough. But we can get it. Get her where it'll hurt, too.
But he tries to murder her with an elephant's foot because they do this. The Jenny Agutter character, I think what her character is. Like, she's underneath. Part of the act is they have elephants dancing around, and one of the things they do is they make the elephant raise the foot, a girl gun's underneath it, and they put the elephant's foot right down, and obviously the elephant doesn't crush them because the elephants are well trained, but he's like, you're with Brad now. Is the elephant getting tired?
No, he says, basically, if you want to live, you have to go out with me.
Yeah.
Mignac, see how our angel's eyes shine today. She has found a new love.
Quit clowning, sugar. For this, I don't get paid by the hour. Let's get on with the number, huh?
Oh, you want to hurry back to the boss. Maybe he has a present. He likes that funny face, huh? Tell me, would he still like it if Mignac leans a little bit?
Klaus, are you nuts? Let me up! Up, Mignac! Up!
Steady.
To be fair, he is played off as an evil character. But why is
But
he...
if that was Sebastian, that would work.
Yeah, why is he played off as an evil character for doing exactly the same thing that Sebastian did, but it's kind of quirky.
Yeah, well, they like each other now, and obviously Klaus looks pretty, built. And he's
Klaus looks like Augustus Gloop went to the gym.
Now your eyes shine for me, too, because you have fear in your lovely, lying little heart.
So there's a very famous train crash in this film, Barry.
Which I'd never heard of.
Apparently it's quite famous anyway. It's clearly a miniature when it actually crashes, but you say it merged quite well because
it's quite good considering the time. How you can definitely tell it's a miniature, without even thinking it's a miniature. Like there's no weight to it, but there's people running alongside it, and there's like one shot which lasts like 2 or 3 seconds, which I'm sure if I look back at, I'll be like, it looks like crap. Yeah. But just in the sort of flash that it was on, it looked really good. These people
are moving away.
And there's a bit where people are jumping out of it.
Yeah.
And they're jumping out of the miniature, and it's just kind of like, wow, how did they do that?
How did they do that?
Yeah, I should get Captain D on the case.
I mean, in general, the special effects in this film are pretty bad because there's a lot of green screening.
Awful.
I assume they're mostly reshoots, aren't they? Like things where it's I don't understand why they would have certain scenes where, cause most of this is filmed inside a circus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clearly, like an actual operating circus.
Yeah.
But there are scenes with Jimmy Stewart right at the very start.
Yeah.
Where he's in the same circus tent, but he's green screened in.
Gives buttons.
Holly's hashed up a new hair razor for that center spot.
I'm genuinely under the impression that they just filmed loads of stuff with a circus to showcase it, and then film the actor stuff later. Like sort of did the story in that later because the idea was to showcase the circus. So they did all of that, and then they were kind of like, right, now we've got to put this story in, so they get all the actors in to do green screen back against what they've already shot.
Yeah, I guess so, maybe.
Flyers have fallen before. They will again. He won't die, Pigeon. Your rig goes in center ring.
That's my theory.
But anyway, back to the train crash.
Yeah.
So, Klaus, the angry German, the narcissistic German, he teams up with this Carney guy because Klaus gets fired because he tries to murder someone with an elephant's foot.
That's unreasonable.
So he's like, man, I'm going to rob the train, see? As a German, in a German accent.
Yeah.
Try to do that in a German accent.
No, it would be well racist.
Anyway, so he throws a flare onto the track. The train driver stops. They break into the train, steal some money, and the train is split into 2 halves. So the second train's coming up behind, and for some reason, even though that first train driver was
Wouldn't
really
it be 2
good,
trains?
They say that, don't they? They say it's the first section and the second section,
Yeah.
even though it's got 2 engines.
Right.
But the first train driver managed to see the flare on the ground. Second train driver doesn't spot a car coming towards him, doesn't spot a giant train in front of him.
Train! Stop the train! Stop the train! Stop! Can't you see the lights? Stop!
Klaus, the angry German, he gets really mad at the Carney guy for trying to stop him. So he smashes him in the face with his club. Then he drives along the track to try and stop the second train from hitting the first train. He's like, stop, stop, stop. He murders, he commits suicide essentially. He just drives straight into the engine. His car goes like...
flies away, because they obviously, I guess they hadn't figured out at that point that like when you shoot in miniature, you have to slow it down.
Yeah, because it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
It just kind of flies away. But then this train careens into the back. There's this massive like chaos essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a reasonably good effect.
It was actually quite good.
It's not in service of the story.
There were a few bits where I think maybe they did it for real. There's a bit where a cart rolls over a little bit. You only see it roll over like, I don't know, 5 feet maybe, and then lions come out of it.
Any positives to take from the film? Anything positive you can say about it?
I learned how big tops are put up, and that was genuinely interesting.
Do you think you could now put up a big top after watching this film? You'd now be capable?
Yeah. I reckon I could have done it before I saw this film, but now I've got a head start, you know.
Should we talk about how few black people there are in this film, Larry?
No.
Okay.
The giant's skin is stretched out until it lies smooth and molded, like the bowl of a great coliseum.
We should do it in every single episode, like a black person, like 10 seconds. How many black people were in this film? What kind of roles did they have?
AB's SJW films.
Before the giant can stand up and stretch over his feast of color and laughter. Now the giant comes to life. Slowly the tons and tons of his canvas body rise and swell into the air. He starts growing to his full, majestic height.
So on the list of best picture winners that we've seen so far, kind of where would you rate this one?
I can never really remember the bad ones.
There were bad ones.
It's like Going My Way
was good.
No.
Which one's Going My Way?
That's the one with
That's really
Bing
bad.
Crosby.
No, I hate that more
with
than this. I think this is... I want to say that was a better film. I think the acting was better in that one.
Oh,
but I hated it more. I hated that film a lot more than this one.
And The Great Ziegfeld, which was 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
This is hard at 2.5 hours, but that was even worse.
It's definitely bottom 5.
I think it's probably.
Definitely.
I think it's my second worst one. I mean, I really hated Cimarron because Cimarron is just kind of is a really bad film.
Yeah.
Cavalcade was pretty bad. It's somewhere in the mix, I think. From the bottom
That's what
5.
I mean. Like I never really, I don't
position,
remember them enough to rank them.
No.
Like I just remember they're all bad.
But this is also one of the ones where current critical opinion is spot on. It is pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely like this came out the same year that High Noon came out.
There's nothing to this.
No.
At all. In terms of a movie, there's nothing to it.
It's just a fluffy sugar confection. Yeah. That's all it is. So yeah, bad film. Don't watch it. Thumbs down. I give it 2 thumbs down.
Oh no, wait, we can't. That's Siskel and Ebert, isn't it?
I give it 2 middle fingers down. What? Middle fingers, mate.
Every night I bring her Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches. How my baby loves those Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches. I try to win her with candy, ice cream and custard. But how she likes hot dogs with mustard.